Hi, I'm Zach,
And I'm Kyle.
and this is Those Who Conspire.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a re recording of one of our episodes that was lost because of garbage audio on my part. And for that, I apologize. We've made mention of this episode in the past. It didn't actually exist in its proper form. We're going to do it right this time. Zach, how are you doing?
What are you wearing? What is that?
So, it's definitely harder as an adult to get into the Halloween spirit. A couple reasons. Of course, the world has ended, and also, as a parent, it's very difficult to find time to find appropriate Halloween costumes. So, you're getting all of my baddie ideas coming out into this one right here. It's okay.
Oh.
But it's okay, Zach. I'm going to shed some light on the situation.
Jesus Christ. Okay, my mom sometimes buys like holiday stuff that like lights up that have like there's like I have like a Santa Claus hat that like you put on and it lights up and stuff. And are you that parent? Are you that parent that like buys that kind of stuff for your kids?
All I'm saying is that my kids get invited to parties and I don't, is really what I'm trying to say. It's just
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. You mean your adult parties don't like your light up bat sunglasses?
Somehow whenever I've gone to adult parties with light up bat sunglasses, I just, did what I did in middle school. Just stand around by the side of the punch bowl, like singing like Grumpy Toad and Pete the Cat. Oh, so alone. That'll make so much more sense when you're a parent, okay? I promise
Yeah,
you.
I know.
Like,
I won't.
can't wait to rage with you about Pete the Cat and like continuity errors of the Peteverse, okay?
I'm hoping to get my kids started on things I love early. That way, but I know it's going to happen. I know that my kid's going to be like, I don't like superheroes. My kid's going to have that exact accent. From half the family's from California, the other half's mine, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. You know what? I will say I have something to complain about with the whole parent thing. I thought
sweet,
we were going to
glasses
learn the
off.
sex. Oh no, you don't have to take your glasses off. It's okay. It's all right.
It's all right.
I'm sure YouTube and all the listeners would love to see your eyes. That being said, if the listeners can see your eyes, that's some Jeepers Creepers shit. That's not some.
What? Jeepers Creepers. What?
I love that movie. But I will say the movie is a lot more terrifying when you can't see the monster. And then the second you do, you're like, oh, really? That's it? Okay.
Yep.
Kind of like Hannibal Lecter in the Hannibal movies is best when he's behind bars and Silence of the Lambs because you don't know what he's capable of. And then the second he's out, nothing is as intense, except for the TV show. We're not going to get into it. We know you have opinions on the Hannibal TV show. We both do.
I've seen it or have a thought or two.
Anyways, I thought that we were going to learn the sex of the baby yesterday, and we just didn't. And they were just like, no, you'll learn later. And we're like, no, we want to know now. And so, I don't know. I was disappointed. It's stupid, but I was very disappointed we didn't learn the sex yesterday.
It's okay. That's actually very cute and charming. It just shows that you really want to meet your kid and, start talking right there. It's pretty cool. Learning the sex of your baby was pretty exciting. We learned about it when we went and told my wife's parents and her family in Mexico, and we went and did an ultrasound over there and found out that our first child was going to be male, a boy. So we had a lot of fun looking forward and prepping for that too. And when it happens, it'll be very good. I'm pretty excited for you, to be honest. I'm looking forward to like sending your kid like all sorts of like pod adjacent stuff and like conspiracy related things. This child has no idea what they're in for whenever they're born. And I'm not going to try to encourage listeners to send you things just yet, but you better put that baby registry up right here. Who knows? The internet might be kind.
Yeah, I'll put the baby registry up.
Yeah, there we go.
They'll be funny if people look at it and they're like, why is it just a bunch of Paper Mario games and retro consoles?
I was actually very curious about this too. Like, it was also a little bit weird that you were looking at like Sonic onesies, but we'll get past that. Thank you very much for tuning into another fine episode of Those Who Conspire. And before we get in, I do want to actually tell our listeners that they too can get involved in the as true conspirators in some way. If you want, and you like what we do, feel free to drop us a review on Apple or, go into Spotify. Leave us a review. It'll be nice. And, if it's 5 stars, great. If it's 4 stars, sure, we'll take it. If it's 3 stars or under, ask yourself, are you really comfortable leaving that there? But, yeah, otherwise, feel free to drop us a line if there are episode ideas that you want us to cover at thosewhoconspire@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at ConspireWho. You can also reach us individually across all, social media. I am, Kyle is Moody. And Zach, you want to leave your socials here?
Yeah, I'm Real Hightower on Instagram, and REEL Hightower on Instagram, and I am Zach_Hightower on Twitter.
All right, so there we go. And if you want, you can, I'm sorry, I should have said you can find us on Meta, because that was a recent Facebook brand update, too. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Zach's soul died,
no.
Okay?
No. I may have bought a VR headset, a camera made by Facebook that I strapped to my eyes. But I still am not happy about this whole Meta thing. I don't know what it is. Also, I cannot wait till I don't have to log in with my Facebook account into my Oculus.
Yeah, there's legitimate problems with that. But like Post Malone said, you like to think that you're meta now. Meta now. Anyways, enough with that sort of discussion right here. Clearly not a Posty fan, Zach, but...
No, I'm more of a prequel guy.
There are so many things I could be doing. Look, okay, one of the things that we talk about here is the impact of media on communication, but also on thought processes. And this very discussion that we're having today is on feral people in national parks. This is something that's obviously been a point of discussion in the past. One of the things that we're going to cover is something that is from 1969, particularly with the disappearance of Dennis Martin. But this discussion and renewed focus on feral people in national parks largely comes as people during the COVID-19 pandemic started moving towards other adopted technologies, including Snapchat and TikTok, which in particular saw a resurgence in adoption and active user bases. TikTok is where this feral people in national park discussions really became prominent, with certain users promoting this and saying, hey, the government is covering up people disappearing in national parks because they want people to continue to go to national parks. Because it's one of the few things that you could necessarily do during the pandemic, right? So it's kind of a perfect storm right here. Zach, why don't we get into why people believe that feral people exist in national parks?
Well, they believe it because videos on TikTok said it's true. Look. Okay, so there are like stories of feral people in national parks. Obviously the National Park Service does not keep a track of the amount of people that go missing in national parks every year. Which is, inherently suspicious, because I feel like, it's kind of like, what are you trying to cover up? Like, why do cops not keep track of how many shootings they do? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds inherently suspicious, right? Not to get political here on this obviously political podcast. But, I don't know. Anyways, so here's the thing.
Yeah, the hemming and the hawing that we're doing around this, all of a sudden, it toes the line. Like, let's focus right now on feral people and national parks, and understand there are specific allusions that could be made to greater social issues, right?
Oh, for sure. There are tons of illusions and illusions.
No.
Yeah, tricks. Yeah, tricks. All right, I was going to make a Arrested Development reference, but I decided not to at the last second. I just went ahead and pulled out. Let's see. So, here's the thing. A ton of people go missing in national parks every single year, right? So, the theory is that there are feral people that live in the national parks and that the government is covering it up, right? Just like Kyle said at the top of the show. But the thing is, though, is it seems like a lot of this is just kind of stemming from one story in particular. Kyle, what's the name of the kid from '69?
That would be Dennis Martin.
Dennis Martin. Good. Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't say Bryan Adams, and I'm very glad you didn't. I almost said, what's the kid from 69?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
well, that
lost
was a
him
dumb
around the
joke.
summer of '69. Okay,
Yeah.
and maybe he's in heaven right now.
Wait, does somebody die in that song? Is that
For
what that
God's
song
sakes,
is
how are we
about?
not if we're gonna mention Bryan Adams, we're gonna go all in. Zach, every little thing I do it for you. Okay.
No. You know what one of my favorite Bryan Adams things is? That was a weird way to say that. You know what one of my favorite Bryan Adams song is? I actually don't know the name of it. This story is going off. It's terrible. So, have you ever seen Spirit, the animated horse movie? Have your kids watched that?
No, my kids have not watched that, but I know it.
Okay, so the thing about that movie is they hired Bryan Adams to be the voice of Spirit, right? But just by composing all of the music itself. But I guess in test screenings, they weren't very happy with it. So instead, they just had Matt Damon narrate it, which makes Bryan Adams' soundtrack sound really weird in comparison. Anyways, if you just want a stupid thing to watch for 90 minutes, you should watch Spirit, because honestly, it's not that bad. The soundtrack is hilarious, and the Matt Damon voiceover is so bad. The dude cannot do voiceover. I feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. He's very privileged.
You should very much, as a person who supports Massachusetts multimillionaires over here, you should necessarily always feel bad for Matt Damon. How many people still go around and do that to him? At some point, he just has to lean in.
Did you know that he did an interview not that long ago where he was like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get why they said that. He's like, I really like Matt Stone and Trey Parker. I really like that movie, but I don't know. I just didn't get it. And I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But apparently they were just like, he had a stupid look on his face, so they just decided to lean into it, which is not unlike, like Joey on Friends,
Yeah, Matt LeBlanc and his expressions are also played up on episodes. We're doing such a great job right here because this is kind of a nothing burger of a conspiracy theory, but let's, I think maybe we should pay a little bit of attention to it.
What are you talking about? We're keeping it tight in here. We're keeping it tight like a Jazzercise instructor. That's what we're doing.
Shout out to Jazzercise. Sponsor us. According to NamUs, the National Missing and Unidentified Person Systems, more than 600,000 people go missing in the United States every year. Zach, that seems like a pretty high number. Now, fortunately, around 90% of those missing people are recovered every year, either alive or deceased. But how many of those disappear in the wild is unclear. Neither Department of the Interior, which oversees the National Park Service, or the Department of Agriculture's U.S. Forest Service keeps track. So, would you like to know who are the most reliable individuals that keep track of who misses every year?
Yes.
Bigfoot hunters.
Wait, really? Bigfoot hunters are the people that are towing the line on this thing?
Yeah, David Paulides in 2011 founded the North American Bigfoot Search, and he launched a database of wildland disappearances that occurred under mysterious circumstances. From his research, there are at least 1,600 people that are currently missing somewhere in the wild here in the United States. So, according to data, this is how people disappear. It usually happens in the late afternoon, and during or just before severe weather. So right there, that could be a tell of why people disappear. Because obviously, if you're disappearing in the wilderness, if you're not careful, the elements can get you. Hypothermia, death by exposure, or simply, having a bad fall are all reasons for people to die in there.
Or bears.
Or bears, yeah.
Bears, yeah, bears could get you. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff they can get you out there.
We know that you don't like the wild. That's the thing. You're just
rattlesnakes, bears, tigers, big tigers, smaller tigers, American tigers. That's what they're called, American tigers.
At this point, you are Kim Bauer in 24 and just facing off against the mountain lion in season 2. Okay.
Was that that's the blonde girl from The Girl Next Door, right?
Thank you
what's her
very
name?
much. Yeah. Why would you tell me and I would all of a sudden forget this? It's going to bug me.
She is absolutely phenomenal on Happy Endings. She
Yes,
is
she
so
is.
good on that show. I love that show so much.
I really wish that she would, mount a comeback. I thought that she had a lot of humor, and we need more comedians out there. Always. Full stop.
Yeah,
Uh,
Hollywood doesn't know what to do with funny women who don't mind looking dumb. You know, they don't know what to do with them. Like Jane Krakowski, the same person. Like they just don't know what to do with her.
yeah, we can get into a whole discussion about this too. Probably not whenever we're talking about feral people in national parks.
All right. Okay, sorry.
Well, but here's the thing. Paulides actually, even though he's searching for a conspiracy, he specifically says that he doesn't think there's a grand conspiracy out there. I mean, he's a Bigfoot hunter, right? So somebody that's interested in this point. But he says specifically that the Park Service most likely conceals the true data on how and where people disappear and how many have actually been found because it would shock people so badly that visitor numbers would fall off a cliff, which is one particular way that you can be lost in the woods. The National Park
eaten
Service.
by a tiger.
Okay, look, the National Park Service certainly doesn't advertise that there are dozens of still missing visitors in Grand Canyon or Yosemite, and a county sheriff isn't going to put a missing person on his re-election poster. This is all something that plays into our lack of understanding of national parks, and that's one of the things that I'm quoting from Paulides right there. So we should also point out one thing, Zach. We're recording this at the end of October, given all the Halloween paraphernalia and my Halloween stuff that's over here for my box set. Shout out to Halloween H2O, Misbegotten Classic.
Shout out to 20th Century Fox. I don't know. I don't know who makes Halloween. Who makes the Halloween movies? I actually don't know.
Well, the Akkad family, and then it jumps around from producer to producer. It's now under Blumhouse. We are getting so far off track. The reason I bring this up is not because of the pop culture references, but well, in some way, yeah. The Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie story is also, resolving itself around the same time. They found, after Petito was found dead of strangulation, most likely by her fiance, Brian Laundrie, investigators did find Laundrie's remains in a park, so it showed how easy it was for people to disappear, right? This was where Laundrie was found, along with the remains of other people. All of this is to say that people go missing in national parks. People can easily get lost within there and, not be found for a long time. And nowhere is this more common than in the sad story of Dennis Martin. Go ahead with talking about old Dennis.
Well, Dennis Martin, I'm not going to say that with a smile. Dennis Martin was camping with his dad and his grandfather and a couple of friends with another family, right? It was June 14th, 1969. They were camping, and then all the kids were like, we're going to do a surprise for, like, one of the other adults. So they all ran and hid, like, behind, like, bushes and things. They hide in the forest. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so as all the kids came out, Dennis's father realized that Dennis wasn't with them. And after about 10 minutes, he was like, where's my child? So they started doing some searching, and they turned over a bunch of things and rocks and such, and they couldn't find him. It was like he disappeared off the face of the planet, right? So one of them went and got help, while the rest of them just kind of looked for like an hour or two. And shortly after that, there was a torrential downpour that just flooded everything, right? Destroyed any types of tracks, destroyed all of these things, and they never found Dennis Martin, but it's not without them trying. Didn't they pull in like the National Guard and stuff? Didn't they do that?
It's bigger than that. It's not just some members of the National Guard. They also had a Boy Scout troop that came in and went searching for him, and even 71 Green Berets that were brought in off of leave. And the Green Berets are actually important for discussing some of the conspiracy theories later, because it's a mystery.
The feral people in National Park Service really kind of stems from this story, but only because of one interaction. And it's kind of up to debate who actually saw this happen, and it doesn't matter. I'll get into it. So, shortly after, a stranger, somebody else that was in the same area as them, heard a scream, and then as they looked, they saw one of two things. One, they saw somebody either crouching behind a bush that had some type of fur over him, right? Or they saw somebody after the scream run down the mountain, get in a car, and drive away, all right? Now, the reason this story is kind of hard to wrap your head around is the fact that it's either attributed to Dennis Martin. I almost said Dennis Rader. Yeah, the BTK killer's father. No, Dennis Martin.
What are you talking about?
Well, no, I almost said Dennis Rader. That's BTK. That's the serial killer, BTK.
Okay, God. What?
Yeah, it was very different episode going into that. Yeah. Actually, if you watch Mindhunter, the person that they keep flashing back to in the glasses throughout the entire show is Dennis Rader. Doesn't
Gotcha.
matter. Anyways, so Dennis Martin, right? The problem that story has is that some of the stories attribute it to Dennis Martin's father seeing the person, and then other persons attribute it to the complete stranger. So there's no consistency or facts about it. Nobody knows what happened to Dennis Martin. They never found a trace of him. In fact, it was the largest manhunt in national parks history. And to give you an idea of how difficult it is to find somebody in the national parks, the Great Smoky Mountains, the place where Dennis Martin actually went missing, is over 500,000 acres large. That is huge. I mean, that's bigger than your mom.
You did this joke the last time that we
I
recorded.
did.
Oh my God.
I did, and I liked it. You know what? Fun fact. We had all of the audio up until this moment in the other podcast where I said that joke, and I did not get your reaction because your audio and your video fell out, and I was like, no, we've got to redo the whole thing. Like,
Oh, that's horrible. No, come on. This has to now live in infamy as just like the thing, okay? You do. For the record, everybody, my mom is very, normal as a person. So thank you, Zach. For all
well,
of a sudden
no,
deciding to
no,
point
no.
this
I'm not.
out.
I'm not saying like Mrs. Moody. I'm just saying your mom in general, like your mama jokes. You know what I mean? Like
I
that kind of thing.
understand
Like I'm
that,
not
but
saying
awesome.
literally Mrs. Moody. I'm not saying that. Please, I apologize if you're watching this.
Or if you're listening, Mom.
But if you're not watching it, I guess I don't apologize. Yeah, that was a weird way to put that. Yeah, I don't
Man.
apologize if you're not watching. Either get on YouTube or don't accept it. So here's the thing. What I don't know what I was talking about. I lost the thread. Kyle, please
were-
take over.
Zach, the big thing was the size of the manhunt was the biggest at the time because the story had garnered such attention, and Martin was unfortunately never found, and it's presumed that, this poor 6-year-old died alone in the woods right there. And so grief is a powerful catalyst for people being moved to, want to find reasons for why this happened. And so, of course, this sort of shadowy cabal of feral people in national parks comes about when there. Now, we did mention the Green Berets before. There are other components to the feral people in national parks, why they're there. A recent episode of the anthology series American Horror Stories by Ryan Murphy, shout out to Ryan Murphy, Netflix, give us money. It came about with this idea that, hey, what if there are feral people in national parks? Why would they want to be there? And the episode postulated that these folks are there at the cover-up of the American government. Because the government, again, wants people to continue to go to national parks and to keep giving money over to there, so they're going to hide an entire shadow civilization within there. Seems silly. But again, the guy who, Paulides, comes up with this idea that, it's not a conspiracy, but people really don't advertise how many people go missing every year and are not found in these national parks. If the number's around 6,000, you'd raise your eyebrows and be like, wait a minute. Do I really want to go out for that, weekend brunch at the national park? I don't know. Doesn't seem like a picnic to me.
Okay. Well, look, here's the, like, that's not like a crazy conspiracy, though, to think about. I mean, even like places like Disneyland or Disney World, if somebody gets injured or dies on the property, they are picked up, taken off the property, and then they're given like the, like, what's it called? The time of death. So, like, technically, no one's died on Disney World or Disneyland's property, even though clearly they have. And I think that's because if people are like, you mean there's gators at Disney World? I'm not going. I don't know why they had a country accent. Why did I say it that way? That was weird. I should have just, everyone goes to Disney World. It's not just like a weird American Southern thing.
Except it is some of them are located in the American South, so that might be the excuse that you have. Here, I'm going to give you the life raft.
Why would I go to Florida? Come on. I don't want to go to Florida. I live in Southern California. Florida offers me nothing. I can't even get legal weed in Florida. All right? Why would I want to go to Florida?
The amount of holes that you're digging with our peninsula population is just overwhelming, so I want to keep going here.
Oh, okay. You think we got big listenership in Florida? I got some news for you, buddy. We do not. We do not. Most of our listenership is Massachusetts, New York, and California, and Washington State, and weirdly in Hagerstown, Washington D.C. I don't know who we know that is there, but they download every single episode consistently. I don't know who it is. But it's just one person, apparently.
I think I know who it is, and shout out to them for listening. You get a no prize. CR if you're listening to this. Let's also talk a little bit about this, though. This is where the sort of fun part about this comes in. If there can be fun that can be derived at all from a horrific, tragic situation that befell an individual and their family. Why are there maybe not feral people in national parks anymore? Why are there maybe not any sightings, particularly in an era where everybody's got camera phones, so it would be more likely to find people like that, since everybody, takes pictures of their walk whenever they're walking? Well, one theory posited that those Green Berets that came in to find Martin, they actually came in and wiped out the feral people during that manhunt. So it was a government cover-up to come in and find those individuals. So, yeah, that's a one, although they walked in with pistols instead of, assault rifles.
Yeah, and everyone knew they were there. I feel like if they were there to take out the secret population of feral people in national parks, I mean, they're Green Berets. They don't have to announce it. They could just show up and no one would know they're there. They'd be like, we took care of the problem. It'd be like, yeah, like he's got his finger on his, yeah, I don't know.
Why?
It fell apart. I was going to talk about the Uncharted movie, but I decided not to.
We're not even going to touch that at all, okay? We're in Uncharted territory with this podcast, but we're not in Uncharted movie territory with that. Let's talk a little bit more about some other famous disappearances, though, because the thing is, there are chilling stories that are out there, and one of the reasons why these feral people in national park stories keep coming up is because people like to color inside the lines of these disappearances and credit shadowy experiences where none may be there. On October 8th, 1976, while on a horticulture field trip with 40 of her classmates, 16-year-old Trinny Lynn Gibson was hiking along Andrews Bald. It's in the Great Smoky Mountains. No one can recall seeing her after 3 p.m. on that day. Searches continued for months, but no traces of Gibson was ever found. On September 25th, 1981, 58-year-old Thelma Pauline Melton was hiking near Deep Creek Campground. She'd been on this trail many times before. She was with friends when she walked ahead of them and vanished over a hill. They couldn't find her on the other side, Zach, nor could they find her at the campground where she was staying. Not a single trace of those individuals, Martin, Gibson, or Melton, ever turned up.
See, that's scary, but like, I as somebody who has a healthy fear of, the forest and such, that's not entirely surprising to me. I mean, even searching for what's the boyfriend's name, that the murderer?
Oh, Brian Laundrie.
Brian Laundrie. Even searching for him, I think they found 8 missing people's remains that they just hadn't
they found
before. Some of them had been. Yeah, and some of them have been missing for forever. The thing is about like the national parks and stuff is like you could literally fall, hurt your ankle, and you don't have cell phone signal. You can yell out as much as you want. No one's going to hear you because it's like you, okay, all right. So, as somebody who grew up in a small town, Kyle, you did the same thing. Now that it's focused, as somebody that grew up in a small town, I mean, we used to go to like pumpkin patches and stuff, right? Like you used to do that, right? Like Evans Orchard.
Oh, I still go to pumpkin patches.
Exactly. All right. So those like like those corn mazes.
Yeah.
Okay, kids get lost in those things. And even if they're yelling in this corn maze, sometimes it still takes like 10 minutes to get to them, right? Now, imagine that size, but 500,000 acres with deep, deep woods. And that gives you an idea of how easy it is just to disappear out there, and you're just never found again. I mean, I don't think there's feral people. I think there's just people that are underestimating, just the dangers of just literally hurting your ankle. You know what I mean? Just like, that's it. You just hurt your ankle. You're screwed if you don't have anybody around you. Also, Kyle, on social media, I keep seeing this post saying that if you are missing or if you're lost or something, to update your voicemail so people will know where you are. First of all, that is very stupid. You don't want to update your voicemail, okay? That takes up way more battery, all right? Sending voice messages and updating your voicemail. For two things. One, if you don't have cell phone signal, if you have barely any signal, that voicemail cannot be changed because your voicemail starts on your phone and then updates in the cloud. If it can't connect to the cloud very well, it's not going to update and it's going to kill your battery. What you do is you put it on airplane mode, you do an entire text message, and you send it to as many people as possible, and you turn off airplane mode, send out the text message with all of the details of where you are, and then you stay right there and then immediately put your phone back on airplane mode. Do not kill the battery. Updating your voicemail will not do anything. It is not helpful. Do not do that. It uses less battery to send a text message. Sorry, I'm getting off of my thing now. All right, a soapbox. Is it a soapbox?
Well, no, that's actually a helpful PSA right there. So, in case you're ever lost in the wild, so I appreciate that. I actually had never thought about that, and I really will now always remember that too. So I'll make sure I have enough battery whenever I'm out walking in corn mazes or pumpkin patches right here. One of the reasons that I joined Boy Scouts in said small town in the Kentuckiana area was that I wanted to go camping. I enjoy camping very much. Unlike my co-host, I really dig going out into the woods, getting a little bit lost, but also learning how to find my way around. I actually attribute it as one of the reasons why I can navigate through other spaces by looking for different details that are out there. So I really do love camping right here. But Boy Scouts offer me that opportunity to also give me some resources. But not all Boy Scouts are necessarily created equal, and I do have a tragic story of a Boy Scout that did disappear. In 1991, 12-year-old Jared Negrete, he was a shy kid who was with 5 other scouts and their troop leader, left Camp Tahquitz in the San Bernardino National Forest. They were going to hike up Mount St. Gorgonio. It's the highest peak in Southern California. Zach, you been out there?
No. Well, no.
So to just move off this, poor Jared fell behind, was never seen again. Rescue teams as far west as Malibu searched around the clock, eventually turned up Jared's backpack, some candy wrappers, beef jerky, and a camera. And this is where things get really spooky. There were 12 photographs that were developed, mostly landscapes. The last one was of Jared's eyes and nose, taken after he was missing. They discovered that in the same area as other items. But after a 16-day search, this included 5 helicopters, rangers on horseback, and infrared cameras, Jared Negrete was never found.
Well, that's unsettling. I don't like that. But what's his name? What's Jared? What?
Negrete. Negrete.
Oh, man. Have you seen the picture?
No, I don't want to.
If him looking into the camera, it's unsettling.
It's deeply unsettling, and that's one of the reasons why conspiracy theories sort of happen right there. It's the sort of... It hits the same buttons as Heather in Blair Witch Project, right?
But no, that's unsettling. I feel so bad for that kid because, like, God, that must have been so terrifying. Like, I don't know what caused him to take a photo at the last second, but like, that's, oh my God. Ugh, I hate that. That poor child.
Yeah, I this is one of the things though that people try to do is try to put information in there from nothing and from little of it, and that's because so much of the national parks is protected wild wilderness. Wow, wilderness. I can do words that we necessarily don't understand enough about, and thus try to color in the lines. Let's also talk about Death Valley. How appropriate to talk about this right here. And we're going to talk about Death Valley in 1996. This is an eerie stretch of land. It covers 3 million acres along the border of California and Nevada. It's the hottest location in North America, and during a record streak of 120-degree days in July 1996, 4 German tourists went missing. They left a note in a guest book signature in a box at a small ghost town. The note reads 7/23/96, Connie Egbert, George Max, which were the names of the individuals that went missing. We're going through the pass. Rangers assumed this referred to the Mengele Pass. The family didn't get on their return flight on July 29th. Interpol listed them missing on August 14th. Their locked rental van was discovered abandoned on October 23rd with 3 flat tires. No tracks, wallets, keys, or passports linked to the group were ever found. Dozens of theories circulated about whether they encountered the wrong people, perished while trying to find shade, or even if they'd staged their own disappearance. These remains related to them weren't located until 2009, when human bones were discovered in Death Valley. According to the AP, Associated Press, authorities were fairly certain they belonged to the tourists. Yeah, if you disappear, you're gone in some of these places.
Oh yeah, no, that's terrifying. Like, I've had so many friends that go to Death Valley, but only they don't like. I guess in hindsight it's kind of dumb, but the only people I know that go to Death Valley are experienced hikers and people who go there and get high in camp. Like, that's the only 2 types of people I know to go to Death Valley. And I don't. It just seems so hot. I mean, it's called Death Valley, for God's sakes. It's like going to a park that's called Instant Death Ridge. Like, why would you do that? I don't understand the logic.
Well, but Zach, it's people that want to get one with nature. Nature is unforgiving, but it's also pretty darn cool, right? That's the thing, Zach. You're like, yeah.
I don't know.
But most of the disappearances that we've talked about involve inexperienced hikers in unfamiliar territory. It's impossible to imagine that a 6-year-old like Dennis Martin would be very familiar with the mountains, or even younger children would have some experience right there. But if you are raised around the areas, you are given more familiarity with this too. I want to talk also about Douglas Legg, which might be one of the most unsettling stories that happens around here. His family had a summer home in the Adirondack Mountains, and he disappeared on July 10th, 1971. He was going for a family hike, and he was told to go back to the house, but on the short walk back to the family cabin, something happened. What happened remains unclear, but Douglas was never seen again. He was described as a mini woodsman and an avid hiker. So he was very familiar with the area. This is now known as Santanoni Preserve in Newcomb. So the majority, again, involve inexperienced hikers in unfamiliar territory. This was a summer home, so he knew the area. So what happened to Douglas Legg?
Wait, so was there any evidence at all about what happened to him, or?
No, Zach, his disappearance launched the Adirondacks' largest manhunt ever. You have more than 600 rescuers searching the dense woods. U.S. Air Force planes showed up and used infrared equipment to try to detect body heat. There was even a report that a C-131 aircraft also surveyed the area with a thermoscanner device used to penetrate the Vietnam foliage. The family even paid for the elite Sierra Madre search and rescue unit to fly in from California. No trace of Douglas was ever. Yeah, the search was abandoned after 33 days.
How old was Douglas again?
8.
8 years old. Oh my God. That's horrifying.
It's very clear the parents did everything they could. They put their money into it. I mean, paying for elite search and rescue teams to find their child, and with the advanced technology of the time. And yet, people disappear.
Maybe this is just me about to become a father, but like I in my head, I'd rather, instead of just thinking the obvious, which is they probably got lost or injured and died of exposure. I'd much rather believe that they just found like a portal and now they're ruling in Narnia. You know what I mean? Like, I find that more comforting that they're at least somewhere that's not terrifying. Even though Narnia is pretty scary. I've never understood why those kids weren't more freaked out about what was happening.
It's those delicious Turkish delights.
Yeah, if someone offered me Turkish delight in a strange land, I'd be like, no, I don't know what's happening right.
Yeah, but we're not coming out of war-torn Britain, right? And so, anybody that's offering us Turkish delights, even if we have to sell out our family, it's like, more. I saw this tweet go viral that said, like, I've had Turkish delights before. I don't think I'd sell out my family that much for it, okay? And then they're talking about the history behind The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which, of course, this is now a C.S. Lewis pod. We're now happy to be the Prince Caspians of your conspiracy viewing in there. Look, like, Zach, just the power of human grief to create these stories and to also mix it with this idea of the wilderness as being untamed is also really valuable, right? In some ways, we learn a lot about it from folklore and from stories. And we also have this idea that the landscape changes people. Obviously, this is true. People that live in different regions do have different regional outlooks and views on life, too. I mean, we see it in accents, we see it in the way that people act. California might be more laid back than Massachusetts and what have you. But nonetheless, I still believe that there is a sort of universality that is out there where we want to believe that we can find the people that we love if they go missing and to have that connection. And so these are some of the more tragic stories behind the feral people in national parks. It's a conspiracy that's actually propelled by grief and pain and loss. And those are pretty powerful agents that drive these things. In some ways, it's no different than QAnon being promoted by the whole hashtag Save the Children. Something that's well-meaning on its surface actually contains darker truths.
Well, not only that, but like, I just want to go ahead and just say this for the record. Me and Kyle did over 2 weeks of research for this episode, and we found zero evidence supporting the theory that there are feral people. Like, just zero evidence. Between, like, eyewitness accounts, there are almost none. There are, and the ones that there are eyewitness accounts could easily be explained away as something else. Like, there's no physical evidence that there are feral people in national parks. There's just not. It's a pretty short episode because, honestly, there's not a lot of content there for that. It's a pretty empty conspiracy from TikTok, as most conspiracies from TikTok are.
Right. They sound good in 1 minute sound bites and then repetition that is also set up via the audio video presentation tools that TikTok uses. It's a storytelling device, right? So I would suggest that if you are taken in by these stories of feral people in national parks, you go in and you do look at the stories that have been published by credible news outlets, and also look at some of the academic journals and the stories that are published in other folklore tales in there. A lot of this comes up in multiple different ways. This is where the intersection of real-life tragedy, grief, and technology all come in and create a sort of perfect storm in there. You kind of want to believe it. And come around Spooktober, which is when we're recording this, grief is a powerful catalyst. Getting spooked is a powerful catalyst. But at the end of the day, much like if you're lost in the woods, what you can't do is let emotion take the better of you. You have to use your head.
That's true. Also, if you're lost in the woods, you should have one of these guys, all right? It's a huge battery, right? And it's got a thing on it so the sun can recharge it from the sun powers in the sky. And long story short,
sun powers?
You heard me. So, look, it's really early here, all right? It's like we started recording at 7 a.m. on Pacific, okay? My mind's not working real well right now. But you know what always works well is my phone's attached to this. It's great. It's not that expensive, to be honest with you. It's RAV power. I think it was like $20. It'll recharge your iPhone, I think 4 times on a full charge. And this thing is a lifesaver. It also comes with a flashlight. But if you're recharging your phone, I guess you don't really need it because you have a flashlight on your phone. But it doesn't matter. Anyways, if you're out and about and you're camping, do not go out without one of these. Even if you have your car with you, do not do that. That is stupid. Be careful. Be ready, okay? I'm not one to go hiking because I don't like rolling the dice on my own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the motto of the Boy Scouts is, of course, be prepared.
That's the motto for SCAR, too, so.
You had no idea, like, the cognitive dissonance I had whenever I was in Scouts, and then I was also watching Lion King. I'm like, but Jeremy Irons' lion tells me what to do, okay?
Yeah.
Look,
But Hans Gruber's brother.
Hans Gruber's brother, my God. He wasn't Hans Gruber's brother yet. That came out a year later. I just want to say.
Don't take this. No, he will always be Hans Gruber's brother. He will always be Hans Gruber's brother to me.
Okay, well, shout out to Dead Ringers and Batflex Alfred. Let's just wrap this up a little bit by saying, folks, even though that they make good stories, there's not that much there for feral people in national parks. But there is something there about taking care of yourself and being safe. So you should take solar batteries out there for your electronics that keep you connected. You should also make sure you have camping implements that help you, whether it's a pocket knife that you know how to use responsibly, whether it is other tools that you can use there to help yourself fashion some other tools. Shout out to the hatchet that we all had to read in grade school. There we go for survivorship of elementary school texts. Thanks, Mrs. Tussey, for making me read that. And ultimately, just make sure that you're out there prioritizing the safety of yourself and others. Stay on the path, be smart, and, appreciate nature. Don't be one of the 6,000 people that we never get to recover every year from the national parks.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you all very much for taking this journey with us. We like to think that we're not going to give you a price hike for listening to us, so we're happy to be wherever you go on your pod needs. As always, if you want to get a reach out to us, feel free to send us episode ideas at thosewhoconspire@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. If you're on Spotify or iTunes or any other podcast platform, feel free to leave us a review. Think about it. Do you really want to go without leaving us a review before your time? It's always one of those things that we can knock off your bucket list very quick.
If you're lost, you can actually leave us a review with your location and where you're at. But give us 5 stars, and we'll try to come find you.
Yeah, tweet us at ConspireWho and or find us on at Kyle is Mooney and Zach _Hightower. You can necessarily make sure that we'll contact the proper authorities. Jesus Christ.
I will do it. That's what I'll do.
Man, what a tag. Okay, we're lifesavers, so follow us.
But not the green ones.
Okay, actually, fun fact, cool camping fact. I think it's the wintergreen lifesavers. If you chew them at night, they actually produce little sparks. So if you're chewing those at night, you can actually see them. Yeah, it was a fun, really cool camping trick to do. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on TikTok. Why not? I'm gonna do that right now.
Are you just gonna film yourself in the dark chewing?
Yes.
Is that what putting on TikTok means?
I'm basically every Patton Oswalt skit ever, just like a 40-year-old man chewing in his house by himself. Okay, that's me.
I feel like everybody would watch that with misophonia is going to lose their minds. They're not going to be able to handle it. They'll just be like, what is this? People with misophonia hate ASMR. It's just the worst thing in the world. But anyways, enough about mental disabilities.
Enough about mental health, we should say, in here on the pod, too. As always, I am your evergreen wintergreen co-host, Kyle Moody, joined as always by my lovely to be around friend, Zachary Taylor Thomas Zachariah Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
Aya.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much,
it's
Zach.
biblical. Yeah, thank you.
It is biblical.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody. See you next time on Those Who Conspire.
Bye. Oh, man. All right. So let's just go ahead and get into the pop culture talk because I have to talk about this. All right. So, all right. If you guys are joining us, thanks for staying after the credits. Here's the fun stuff. Okay. Not that the other stuff wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying, Kyle. You know what I'm saying.
It really wasn't fun. That's why they're all here.
All right, so here's the thing. All right, so 3 big pop culture things for me this week, all right? 1, I finished Metroid Dread. Awesome.
Yay!
It was very fun. And I got the amiibos, finally. So those are good. Those are up on the shelf, which I'm excited about. I know you've not a big amiibo guy. I love amiibos. I love them so much.
It's not like hatred. It's just I don't have them. Like, yeah. But yeah, I'm happy for you to get them because I know supply chain issues have been a nightmare. So you getting them
they're a nightmare.
It's a coup.
I love amiibos. Every time there's a new amiibo, I always try to pick it up. 2, I'm almost beat Metroid Zero Mission already. I'm at Mother Brain, and I want to shoot my face off because I've done it 50 times and die every single time.
Seriously?
I keep getting hit by all of the fire around me and then going right into the lava and then just dying after 30 seconds. And I've done it so many times.
The screw attack. You have to keep doing the screw attack.
I know I gotta keep doing the screw attack. Here's the thing. I got so frustrated yesterday, I literally was like, I have to put my Wii U down. And I put it down and I walked out of the room. That's how angry I was playing that. But anyways, enough about anger management. Number 3, I went and saw Dune this weekend. Have you seen Dune yet?
Nope.
Okay, all right. You have HBO Max, right? You do.
Yep.
Okay. Here's the thing. Is it best to see it in a theater with the loudest system known to man? Also, you should sit 3/4 of the way in the center of the theater because that's the best place for sound in the whole theater. It doesn't matter. But should you see it in a movie theater? Yes. Yes, you should. Should you just watch it on HBO Max if you're not going to be able to get into a movie theater for a really long time? Yeah, you should. But just so you know, it's the loudest movie known to man. The movie is so loud, Christopher Nolan is actually jealous. That's how loud the movie is. All right? It's so loud. You remember how Blade Runner 2059 or whatever it was
2049, yeah. Denis Villeneuve's
2049.
movie.
You remember how loud that movie was?
He's done other ones. Yeah, I remember Blade Runner 2049 still rips on digital. Yeah.
Yeah. Dune is like that, but times 40,000. It's so loud. The seats shook. The seats shook in the movie theater when me and Lizzie watched it. It was crazy. It was almost like we were seeing a 4D movie, which is not something I like. I'm not a big 4D guy, you know? What is the fourth dimension? We don't know. Why are they calling it stuff like that? Things aren't popping out at me. My seat's vibrating. That's not 3D. That's not a fourth dimension. Where's the third dimension? I get angry about these kind of things. Anyways, Dune was awesome. I don't know.
I look forward to watching it on my phone the way that Warner Brothers and Denis Villeneuve intended. Yeah, okay, look, as I'm a huge fan of pop culture talk, I'm really glad fans of Frank Herbert's work have a movie that they can point to as a successful adaptation, I guess, of his work. I haven't really been too hot on Dune. Does it look good? Yeah, it looks fine. For me, it's just harder and harder to get excited about going out to the theaters these days. I'm excited about Eternals, and of course I'm excited about Spider-Man. It's just, a lot going on, too. And I would love to feel more excitement about going and seeing things in the theater. But what I'm looking for are legitimately big, huge experiences that work with the community. This week, I got to watch the 2007 movie, The Mist, teaching students about some film techniques and how they're used and applied, and the importance of moving cameras and why certain shots are placed up and set up here. Anyways, We also screened this in black and white, and I had no idea how this was going to go. But we all got in there. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody's just following proper protocols and distancing, and it killed. It was one of the most exciting things, just being in a crowded room of people who are really psyched to see a movie and get into it. People are just clapping. People were mad at Mrs. Carmody, which, you know, they should be, because Marcia Gay Harden's amazing in that movie. Like, I think that there was a lot that we could learn from watching experiences just like that. Perfectly paced entertainment. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So do I get that? Do you get that with Dune? Just like a 3-hour set of entertainment that just holds together pretty well.
I mean, Dune is... Listen, Dune is half a movie. Like, I'm not even gonna... It's half a movie. It's clearly just half a movie. I mean, you're gonna watch it. You're gonna have questions. But if you haven't read the books, because I haven't read the books. I've tried to read Dune countless times. And I get about 40 pages into it, and I'm just like...
So you couldn't
This
Dune
is
it?
slower than molasses for me. I could... Stop it! Stop it! What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. I almost did it. I stopped. I don't know.
No. Once you achieve ultimate dadhood, then you have no choice, okay? The New Balances flow. Like the spice, it must flow.
But like, here's the thing. It's clearly half a movie. It's beautifully shot. The sound is absolutely amazing. It's one of those movies where don't go in expecting to get all the answers, okay? Like, you need to watch it kind of like you watch something from David Lynch. Just let it wash over you. Enjoy the visuals. Enjoy the acting. And just go with the flow. You know, because really, honestly, if you go in expecting to have some type of resolution, you're not going to get it. It literally opens with Dune Part 1. I mean, that's how it starts. But it's good. I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had the same face walking out of it that I did with Blade Runner 2049 or whatever it was called, where it was just so loud and so big and so intense for like 2.5 hours that I walked out and I was just like the entire time. It was so good. I really enjoyed it.
The last time I walked out of a theater like that, in a non-superhero way, I mean, and there's very few of those superhero movies that actually do it. Gaspar Noé's Enter the Void was something that I'd just seen. Have you watched that? It's a very difficult thing to recommend, and I'm not sure I'm recommending it to any of our listeners at this point, because Noé's known somewhat as a trash auteur because of the subject matter, and he does tend to prefer bleakness and nihilism. If you've seen his movie Irreversible, for example, there's a famous unbroken take of a simulated rape scene with Monica Bellucci that is incredibly difficult to watch. Yeah, Irreversible is not one that you're like, let's put on a barbecue and have fun with it. But the thing is, he does make cinematic experiences like this, for better or for worse. And Enter the Void was one of those ones right there. And you get it right from the title sequence right there, which is abrasive and in your face with some sound design, I think by Thomas Bangalter, formerly of Daft Punk. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on here. If Dune can deliver something like that for me, I would be happy to go see that in theaters. I think that everybody has been missing it. I'm glad that there's a sequel on the way. I'm glad there are things that people love. This month has been all about things that people should love in there. Whether it's Halloween Kills, which after having watched it, I agree with you completely. It was a wholly flawed movie with some good parts, but it's basically filler. Or what I'm looking forward to today, which is Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho, which I can't wait to see.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about that.
I love Wright as a filmmaker. Wright can do no wrong, in my eyes.
Hey, you know how like when you walked out of Fellowship of the Rings for the first time, and you were like, oh shit, they did it. They nailed it. Like, they actually did it. They nailed it. That's how Dune feels when you walk out.
Now, that is one heck of an endorsement. Yeah, I had zero links with Lord of the Rings, and then afterwards, I'm like, put on my cloak. Here we go. Aragon time.
Yeah, put on my cloak. I like that you just have a cloak sitting around.
I mean, just as a dad, you collect these things, okay? Just you do.